Oh my goodness, did I actually do it correct this time? That only took me forever. Let's see. Junior, are you still here? And if so, can you hear me? Hopefully audio is coming across. I'm going to give this a couple minutes to figure out what I'm doing, and then we'll get rolling. Nice. I think there is indeed audio. Cool. Good. All right. This time I'm going to actually tweet out a link to this so people know that this is happening. Awesome. Theoretically, the audio is good again this time. I don't have doubled audio. Doesn't sound like that. I think I have the camera muted and just the mixer picking up. Correct me if I'm wrong. Cool. Good. All right, this is frightening because I've changed the setup in here a little bit. It's still my, this is my podcast recording room, so I don't need good lighting in here. I changed up how I was doing things from the last time. So hopefully this is going to be a little bit better. And I will leave this archive up just like I did the previous ones. Maybe I'll see if I can figure out that YouTube studio thing and cut out the opening where I'm babbling and have no idea what I'm doing. Welcome, everyone. So I will continue to just give folks a couple minutes to join and see what we're doing and hang out and talk with people. This is just going to be a quick little lunchtime break thing. I got 3 little things I want to show off and share and chat about, and then I gotta get back to work. So that's kind of the plan right now. So I am going to pause and take a look at what people are saying, and then we'll get into things here. Good. I'm glad. Sorry, the microphone's over here, then I'm over here, and I'm just going back and forth. All right. Great. All right. Everything looks good, sounds good. I am happy about that. So, welcome, everyone. My name is Mike. I am one of the people that runs Kanzenshu out of this room. Everything is in this room. No, it's spread across the world. I am one of the 3 current admins of the website, the entity known as Kanzenshu. And again, I'm just taking a little break here, showing off some cool things. Hopefully you learn something new, or maybe you already know everything I'm going to talk about, and that's perfectly fine too. So you can see I have here spread on the table in front of you. I have 3 items, actually 4. There's an English release underneath there that then I'll tell you about. I would like to share with you, again, maybe you already know it, but a couple items from Dragon Ball's original serialization in Weekly Shonen Jump. Now, what you see in front of you is not actually the Weekly Shonen Jump issues. Those issues are with Heath, who is another one of the admins on Kanzenshu. What we have here in front of us are 2 issues of the digest edition. That would be the Soshuhen. So those came out from 2016 to 2017, and they spanned 18 volumes. Now, the point of the digest edition from Shueisha, I believe they started those up in 2008. It's just another reason for them to re-release various manga series. And the point of this one is to do it in the style, the format, the publication style and format of Weekly Shonen Jump itself. So you can see it's a little bit bigger of a size. The paper is not great. It's, not quite tankobon, but it's definitely not kanzenban. It's just another way for them to, get a couple bucks out of you. And I bought them all. So we're going to show them off because of what they have for notes and little fun things in there. And then you'll see Jaco here on top. So what I would like to share with you are, I guess you could call them errors in the original serialization for Dragon Ball, things that were corrected or left off in future reprints and publications of the series. So let's just get going here. I'm going to kind of remove a couple of these items off the table here. We're going to start with, I'm going to have to switch what I'm looking at here so I can see in real time as opposed to the delayed YouTube stream. So this is the Legend 8 from the Digest edition. And what we're going to look at in particular here is something from chapter 196. So chapter 196, what's going on there? Well, you can see on the front here, it's Raditz. It's the beginning of the Saiyan arc. So what we're going to do is actually go to the very end of that particular chapter. And what we're looking at here, see if I can center it a little bit this way. We're actually looking at this text down over here. So this is the kind of splash text, preview text that you'd see at the bottom of every chapter. And it would be, hey, what's coming up next volume? So what you can actually see down there is they're saying in volume 47, because this was originally published. This is chapter 196, published October 8th, 1988, in the 1988 number 46 issue of Weekly Shonen Jump. So they're saying looking ahead to issue 47 there. Basically, so we already see Raditz here on the page. We've met him already, so to speak, in the series. But what it's saying down there is, whoa, who's this scary guy with a tail? Goku no Chichi Dazo. Goku's father. It's actually in orange down over here. Raditz is not Goku's father. Raditz is, in fact, Goku's brother. And what we learn in the subsequent chapters is that actual story about who Raditz is. And so it's one of those, did they know, when I say they, Toriyama is the person we're talking about here. Did Toriyama know what he was going to do even chapter to chapter? And for the most part, we know that the answer is no on that. He didn't know what he was going to be doing chapter to chapter. So he introduced this character, and it seems to be like, what am I going to do with him? Or was it the Shueisha editorial staff? Had he given notes to his editor at the time? Was it still Torishima at this point? This is what I plan on doing with this character. And maybe he changed his mind at the last minute. Maybe someone didn't get the memo. Maybe someone never got a memo in the first place. But yeah, right there in the original serialization, what they're talking about is you're going to meet Goku's father. You did not meet Goku's father, not for quite some time there in the original Dragon Ball manga. And you wouldn't for quite some time in just 2 panels. And that's a whole nother story. We'll actually briefly touch on Bardock, kind of like by proxy. So that's that one there. I'm going to keep it open. I already lost where it was. There it is. Keep that open for a minute there. And just kind of ask you folks, what do you think about that? Comments, concerns, as I used to say, hopes, dreams, aspirations for Raditz there. Again, so this is coming. This is the Digest edition. This is a re-release of the Dragon Ball manga, again, over the span of 2016 to 2017. But the point of this release was to do it in the style of Weekly Shonen Jump. So we got the larger pages. We have the limited color palette pages when they would appear. We have the extra splash text here and there on the chapter title pages, along the side, at the bottom of pages. So that's a pretty neat little thing. Just checking up on the chat here. So just interesting. Yeah, does this still have Gohan's original age? That's what I wanted to talk about in this chapter. So if we flip back a little bit, it's actually this same chapter. So, again, I gotta flip views what I'm looking at. So right up over here, we see Gohan says he is 4 years old. So this is one of the problems, the issues with the Digest edition, is that it is not exactly like the Weekly Shonen Jump serialization. So we had that note about Goku's father, but we have Gohan's age as 4. Now, this is something that is only in the original Weekly Shonen Jump serialization. Gohan says he is 3 years old in that printing. We have that up in the manga guide on Kanzenshu. We do own this actual original Jump issue, so we have a side-by-side scan of that. So you can definitely go check that out on the website and see for yourself that he did say he was 3. He's holding up, I mean, he's a little blob of a hand right there, but he did say he was 3 in the original serialization. And just going back to the digest edition and the differences there were things like that. There's some title pages, chapter title pages that are different. The ending is like this weird hybrid ending of the original version plus the Kanzenban ending. So they're not quite the archival re-release that you might hope for. Julian could probably speak to this a little more, but likely a matter of what masters did they have, what did they digitally reproduce. Julian definitely caught some font matching issues that seemed to be added in post rather than taken from the original masters. So that's just a pretty neat thing there from Legend 8, the 8th digest edition there of the Dragon Ball manga. So we're going to move on. Again, this is just going to hopefully be a short little lunchtime thing. I have just a few things that I want to share with everyone. So we're going to move on. This is 18. Is this the last one? Yeah, so this is the final volume of the digest edition. Let's see if I can get it centered. It's weird trying to do it upside down in a range on the screen. What are we going to look at here? We are going to look at the ending splash text from chapter 503. So we're very close to the end of the series here. Hopefully you know who this character is, who you're looking at here. Yosha Vegito. That's the character's name, right? Well, actually, so he just fuses here in the chapter. But if we look, I'm going to try to arrange it here, bottom of the page here, what it actually says down in there is Gogeta Tanjo. Gogeta is born. This is not Gogeta. This is Vegito. I'm sure a lot of you know the story here, but maybe you haven't seen the actual text there from the original. So the story behind Fusion. Fusion was an idea suggested to Toriyama by BFF and fellow manga author Masakazu Katsura, who he would many years later go on to work on the Galactic Patrol with, or on with sentences. Those make, yeah, words. Losing my place here. I'm trying to read notes, look at this upside down, look at the real-time stream, look at the YouTube stream. This is good times. Anyway, so Katsura suggested Fusion. That's how we got powered up characters. But what happened here? Why were they saying that this character's name was Gogeta when in the very... Wait, flip upside down. In the very next chapter, he says, this is Super Vegito. That's actually who he is there. So I'm going to see if I can prop this a little bit. We'll go to the previous page here, and we'll talk a little bit about that history. Now, this is super budget, but hey, this is how we roll. So Vegito first came here in chapter 503. This is in January 1995. No, that doesn't make sense. This is December 15th, 1992, in the 1993 number 2 issue of Weekly Shonen Jump. So this is when Vegito premieres. Movie 12 was already in production for release that March. Do I have my dates? Am I totally screwing things up here? I got to pull up a manga guide here. Trying to read the interview while also trying to do this. That doesn't work. Why did I say December 1992? Oh, I wrote 403 instead of 503. Reading off the wrong manga guide page. That makes sense. January 24th, 1995, Weekly Shonen Jump 1995 issue number 8. That makes a lot more sense that it being from 1995. Sorry. Look, real time. As opposed to a podcast where I make a mistake. I edit it and I re-record what's supposed to be in there. So Vegito first came here. Movie 12 was already in production for release that March. So here's what I'm going to read from, this is Toriyama's interview in Daizenshu number 6, which is movies and TV specials. So the concept of fusion is also a form of leveling up. How did that concept come to be? Toriyama says, if I remember correctly, he was talking about how as a concept, there's nothing stronger than the Super Saiyan. And Katsura-kun, who is Masakazu Katsura, who I usually joke around with and say idiotic things with, said, there's no choice but for them to fuse then. So I said, whoa, sometimes you even say something good. It's the first time you've ever made yourself useful. And that's how that plot point was born. And then the follow-up question there is, what about the concept of the Potara? And Toriyama says, that was simply, since fusion was a plot point that was already taken by one of the movies, I was wondering what I should do. I had always been drawing earrings on Kaioshin, so I thought, perhaps I can use these. And then it's such a great follow-up. We learned so much about the production here. Had you drawn them from the beginning thinking you'd use them as a fusion item? Toriyama says, no, not at all. They were just for decoration. So he had never intended for the earrings to actually be that. So what's going on here is Toriyama's writing at this point in the manga, knows that the movie is coming up. He's already contributed, his thoughts, and knows what's happening. Knows that Gogeta is going to appear using the fusion dance, but he's going to fuse them in the manga. So what is he going to do? He ends up using the Potara earrings, and that's how we get that form of fusion. And so this is another perfect example of, did Toriyama decide, well, I'm just going to use the same name of the character, Gogeta, because that's just the fusion name for the character. Why would I do something different? Did he change his mind at the last minute? Did Shueisha get a note? Did Toei send a note? Did Shueisha send a note and Toei not get a note? Who knows what the actual story was there? But as of this chapter, right before he names himself in the literal next chapter, in the original Weekly Shonen Jump serialization, Gogeta is born. We do not, in fact, have Gogeta. We have Vegito. All right, so I'm going to pause. I'm going to go back over to the chat and see everyone making fun of me forgetting what I'm talking about here. So let's see. Also, just help me. Let me know if you guys are still getting the stream, because I'm down in my basement, so the Wi-Fi isn't necessarily the best. So I would love just a, hey, Mike, we are indeed still hearing you and seeing the video stream. And I'll kind of make my hands go in front. All right, that's good. I think people are still getting things. Any thoughts on Gogeta versus Vegito? All of this stuff, again, you can find our translation of the Daizenshuu 6 interview over in the translations archive on the site. All that stuff is there for the reading, for the perusal. Just trying to watch when the my delayed stream is, and thinking about when I said what I said. Connection seems good. All right, stream's fine. Cool. Definitely hand. Yes, that is my hand. All right, awesome. So that's just another fun little tidbit. We are going to abandon the digest edition. We're going to go to the modern era, and by modern I mean, that was like 6 years ago at this point. We're going to talk about Jaco the Galactic Patrolman. One of my favorite things. I think you know by this point I am a fan of the Galactic Patrol. Love everything about it. Love all the series. It's a big thing I'm working on for the wiki, all the documentation and the production history there. So we are going to look at, indeed, not just Jaco, but the Dragon Ball Minus bonus chapter of Jaco the Galactic Patrolman. So Jaco was serialized in 2013 in Weekly Shonen Jump over the span of a few issues, and then its collected edition came out in Japan in early 2014. And the collected edition is what contained Dragon Ball Minus, which is a bonus chapter at the end of Jaco the Galactic Patrolman. So if we go towards the end here, so this is the Japanese print edition. Dragon Ball Minus here. The exact panel we're looking at is up here. It says, a projectile has been launched in the direction of that planet, and that planet being Earth, Jaco says there, from planet Frieza. Well, that's not the case. What we're talking about here is planet Vegeta is in the process of being destroyed, and a projectile has been launched. This is an error in the original Japanese print edition of Dragon Ball Minus. Now, luckily, that was caught by Viz almost immediately. And if we go to Viz's release, which was pretty heavily delayed by the time its print edition came out, Dragon Ball Minus they did put out right away, but the print edition took a while here. They do, in fact, say, up over here, from Planet Vegeta. So they caught it. So put a little lower on the screen. upside down. This is what I'm pointing to from Planet Vegeta. So a little thing that they caught and they realized that's what the error was, and they made that correction. But it does say in the original print edition of Jaco here, whoops, from Planet Frieza. And those are the things that I was going to show off and talk about. Just quick things I was able to grab from the shelves here, quick examples. There are probably more examples from the original Dragon Ball manga serialization from Weekly Shonen Jump with more errors is a tough call on that because who knows what the decisions were at what time about what to print and what was going to be in the next chapter. And again, knowing what Toriyama's writing process was, who knows what some of those decisions could have been and were. But those are just the three things I want to show off. That's pretty much it. I do got to get back to stuff, but maybe I can take like 5 minutes here. I know we got some good numbers in the chat, just seeing how everyone's doing. Hope everyone's doing well. Any questions about the site, about Dragon Ball, about some of the work we're doing? We did a much more budget version of this stream 2 days ago, showing off some magazine stuff. We did just release a podcast episode yesterday. It's an hour and a half long. So if you need some more audio company, just talking about projects, cool interviews with folks that we're working with and what we got going on. I'm actually going to turn the microphone a little bit. Hopefully it doesn't fall down so I can look over at the chat and just see what we got going on. Let's see. Crypto Goku, love Jaco. I love Jaco too. And then Alexander says, never liked Jaco. I love that we have two ends of the spectrum right next to each other. Good stuff. Will the wiki be launched in time for the 50th anniversary of Daizenshu EX? Probably. Who knows? Oh, Lord. So, yeah, I started working on my site. It wasn't Daizenshu EX yet, but in January 1998, went from Vegito EX's Ultimate DBZ links page to Vegito EX's homepage to Daizenshu EX. I think it was Daizenshu EX sometime at least in 99, if not by the end of 98. I was a little manic on how I was working on things there. We'll talk more about plans as soon as we figure out exactly what those plans are. Let's say J Lunar S. Lucky to be able to work from home right now. Wiki updates leave me salivating. Are they just the Tankobon chapters with the jump borders added? These streams are great. That's a lot of points, but I'm glad to read them all. So like I said, they're kind of like this weird combination of, it seemed like if they had the original masters, they would use them. Julian and I did a podcast episode reviewing the entire digest edition, and he went into more detail on some of the what are clearly digital font substitutions for weren't originally there. So it seems like it was mostly Kanzenban masters, but sort of the original versions. It's a really strange release that doesn't quite live up to what it's supposed to be, but it's close, and it gives us enough material there to be able to, without tracking down, again, some of these original issues, that we can at least get a version of the image that helps us there. So I hope that helps. Sorry, I'm just going to scoot myself in a little bit. So this is good times. I'm going to put the books back over on the table here. So just at the end of the stream, you can see what we were looking at here. Jaco and Digest editions. Cool. Any thoughts on Kakarot on the podcast? Yeah, we're planning on talking about that soon. Just in the interest of transparency, I completed the story. I do not have any desire to do endgame content in Kakarot, so that will maybe that colors a little bit of what we'll be talking about in the future on the show there. And yeah, I know we're a little behind on video game coverage and all that jazz. That game has come and gone. I know the DLC is on the way as well. But yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're always going to talk about everything. Just a matter of, it's weeks, months, years later, but we're still going to get to it. That's always the plan. I think I'm mostly going to call it there because I got to get back to work. So thank you everyone for hanging out. We will continue to try these out and do a better job with them in the future. I will continue to adjust, the lighting and the positioning and everything down in here, and just make it fun and good times and hangouts. I know we all kind of need something like that every once in a while. So, yep. All right, I'm going to call it. So www.kanzenshuu.com. That is kanzenshu.com. If you don't know, it's an actual website. I know a lot of people don't know what websites are anymore, even though you might be on a website called YouTube right now. But look forward to more stuff in the future. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm going to click end stream. So that's it. Be good. Check you later, all. Bye.